Londoño, and today I'm going to take you on a journey through time in the history of Miami.
Miami is beaches and permanent summer. Miami is Latin people and their energy, music, and dancing. Miami is all types of cruise ships. Miami is large skylines. Miami is leader in tourism, receiving 16 million tourists each year. In finance, it has the longest concentration of international banks in USA. In construction, with its skylines and Art Deco architecture. In culture, it is a cultural center with festivals, carnivals, performing arts, opera, and all kinds of musicians. And the Port of Miami is the largest cruise port in the world and one of the busiest cargo ports.
But how did it get to be what it is? Let's see.
The name Miami comes from Mayaimi, which was the name that the Seminole Native American tribe gave to the river that flows through the city. It means big water.
We can say that Miami was founded as a city because of its warm climate.
Because in 1894 to 1895, there was a great freeze in Florida. The only place where there were no effects of the freeze was Miami. So Julia Turtle convinced Henry Flagler, owner of the railroad, to expand his Florida Coast Railway up to Miami, and Miami was founded on July 28, 1896.
100 years ago, in 1920, Miami was under construction because of the massive growth on its population.
It went from 5,471 in 1910 to 29,549 in 1920. So they built the Vizcaya Museum, the Coconut Grove, the Sable Canal Bridge, the Tamiami Bridge, Miami Beach, Coral Gables, and Hialeah. Everyone saw Miami as a paradise, so they started to buy real estate, but the prices began to rise so much that people didn't want to buy anymore.
By this time, immigration was very restricted.
World War I had made Americans distrustful of foreigners. That changed in 1959, when the Cuban Revolution and the communist government of Fidel Castro made 150,000 Cubans migrate to Miami. By 1960, 400,000 Cubans had left Cuba and kept leaving. In 1965, other 260,000. In 1980, other 125,000. In 1994, other 32,000. And they arrived in boats, rafts, and any way they could.
Following the Cubans came other Latin Americans like Dominican, Haitians, Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, and Colombian, making Miami the only city in United States where 69.96% of its population speaks Spanish, giving it the name of the capital of Latin America.
20 years ago, Miami was only starting to recover from the destruction that Hurricane Andrew left in 1992. So construction began again. This time, Miami was constructing the tallest buildings. Downtown now has one of the largest skylines in the USA.
How is Miami going to be in the future? Some people don't have an optimistic view of its future.
They say in 20 to 50 years from now, Miami will be flooded because of the rapidly rising levels of water and will be completely flooded by 2100.
Others are more optimistic.
They think that because Miami has a great quality of life, warm climate, great beaches, warm water, it's on the Atlantic, has great airport and great architecture, that attracts people from Europe, Latin America, Canada, and the rest of USA to develop their businesses and do research in Miami because it will have a reputation as a global city.
So, in conclusion, Miami is a city because of its warm climate. Otherwise, Flagler wouldn't have accepted to expand his railroad to Miami. Miami is filled with vibrant, cheerful, party-loving people and is the place where most citizens speak Spanish. thanks to Fidel Castro and the migration of Cubans to Miami and the other Latin Americans that followed. The future of Miami is uncertain because of the climate change and the rising water levels that will most probably flood a large part of it. So, Miami is a beautiful place, so we invite you to visit Miami before it floods.